Okay, so it looks like it's up on Twitch already, and it's now saying that it's live on YouTube. Okay, well, I guess I will have to check that. Quarter of screen. YouTube? And me go live section. Clicking on the currently live video. All right, we're about a minute in, and we've been live. We're on YouTube a minute. Okay, cool. Which means it's about 10 seconds shy of the Twitch time. Good to know. Anyway, yeah, today I am going to be working on a Twine game. I have been using it on a different computer, so what I have been doing for the story and everything is on a different computer. However, I will be switching out the words when I get that figured out. I have the logic that I'm working on today. So, by logic, I mean this is a paranormal buddy mystery, like a cozy mystery buddies paranormal situation. Like one of them is a technomancer, other is a necromancer, and they are working in a craft shop that the technomancer was he inherited, and living at the place because there's an upstairs apartment that the necromancer supposedly is moving into, and then there's the downstairs where the technomancer lives because, well, temperature wise, it's consistent. Plus, the guy kind of is undead. So, there is that. Anyway, because of that, this story is a bit unusual. And since this is for the Pirate Software Game Jam 15, which kind of just started earlier this week on the 17th, I think, is when the theme was released. The theme is Shadows and Alchemy, which I thought very well fit into the idea of what I was doing for a prequel for a book that I was writing. Anyway, cool thing is, I know how to do a choose your own adventure, and Twine is a great way of doing that. So, on to Twine. If you are unfamiliar with Twine, Twine is the program. Bring it up on my monitor here that I am using that as craft shop home here, and this right here is the page that you see over to the side. I'm going to go into and will not show on that because I have to switch sources for that. Okay. So I will have to switch sources on the bit here. Hold on. So I'm just going to remove that. This I'm going to add. So just in capture. Let's see what it will allow me to capture. So properties, specific window. Yeah, it's going to have to be kind of interesting to figure out because I won't be able to see it. Hey, Luna. Okay, so I've got to figure out how to get specific window. I don't have it set to screen logic as that, so okay. So I have to use a different thing for that. So basic can't exactly do screen capture, so I'm going to have to do window capture. Okay. So this over here, going to see if I can get other things in front of it. Game. All right, cool. Yeah, okay. Sorry about that. Thanks. Okay, so, I guess I'm working with it here, here, here. Okay, so far in this story, we have one, too many. Okay, there. I was not expecting the background of the window to have my background go through it, so this is going to be interesting. Also, I'm apparently phasing through this webcam over here, potentially. I'm like nowhere near a webcam now. Okay, let's see. I go here. Okay, cool. Okay, so this basically we're going to figure out the logic for a paranormal by mystery game. It's a solo project because I'm using this kind of as a personal challenge for different skills. I'm using Twine, and for the art, it'll be Affinity Clip Studio and Procreate, and then I'll be using Fruity Loops and Audacity for any audio. And I'm going to put it on Itch on a page I've yet to set up, because I kind of need to do that to actually submit it to the challenge. Anyway, that's basic rundown so far, and let's see, welcome to the crazy is just this back arrow. So this is where we are so far. I click welcome to the crazy, we go to a blank page. I'm going to move this so that I can actually potentially see what's going on. Alright, so in the game here, in the game engine for Twine, I need to apparently set up in studio mode because I do not have it set to see if the okay, it says capture cursor. Okay. Is it because I'm using a weird color cursor? Oh. It's definitely not Brady Bunch, but yeah, it's a good opening theme, nonetheless. So, yeah, due to that, we are going to be potentially moving stuff over. I need to move this. Come on. Not Epic Games. No. Okay. Is this that, and then over here. This way we can see. Alright. So, because this currently just has this back arrow, which would be easier to see if I actually zoom with cam and just slightly slip this so that you can see the arrow. Okay. Anyway, we are going to go into Welcome to the Crazy. To the Crazy. So, basic rundown of what's going to happen in this, I guess you could call it scene. So this would be the first scene, basically, of a book, if it were a book instead of a little game. We can create upstairs apartment, and then we are going to create basement apartment. Okay, so now we have two options. I'd originally planned that the necromancer would be upstairs, but perhaps the player wants to have the basement apartment instead. So they're basically going to be same layout, only difference is which direction the stairs go, and the windows in the basement are egress instead of like your regular windows. So upstairs apartment, I'm going to draw layouts for both. I'm going to also probably design them in a kind of wrecked start out point and then a nice, when you've got your stuff moved in, way. So yes, you can do variables, you can do inventory management. Really, there are a whole bunch of different things you can do. There are different ways of doing it. Let's see, in Twine, let me see if I can find the story formats. Okay. Yeah, so Sugar Cube is full-featured, highly customizable. It's basically, if you can do JavaScript, it's using JavaScript. You can do the whole thing pretty much in JavaScript, and it's all pretty much set up on one page. But yeah, it calls back and all that. Yeah, there are also Snowman, which is minimal with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. That's the testing proofing format, but Chapbook, which makes it very easy to start out, and Harlow is just a little bit more things with programming available. So the version of Twine that I am currently on is Twine, hold on, 2.9, which I believe was released sometime in the middle of last month. So it's the latest mainline Twine around. So, kind of fun. But yeah, latest release client of Twine. Anyway, we've got basic homepage showing what's going on. Welcome to the crazy. I'm just going to refresh the page and see if it'll refresh on. Alright. Looks like it's refreshed. Looks like the Twitch. Alright, Twitch has finally caught up. Alright, cool. So, that's welcome to the crazy. And refresh the page. Nope. Okay, so that means I'm going to go back to this. I am going to press from here. It's figuring out basically the stream logic page. Welcome to the crazy. Alright, we have the options now. I just had to press test from here again, so refreshed it, basically, in the correct program to refresh the stuff. So, we have upstairs apartments, which has nothing in it right now. We have the basement apartment, which also has nothing in it. So, simple setup for that. I'm going to scroll down a little. So, upstairs. I suck at spelling. Okay. This. Let's see about moving this over so I can double click this. In this case, not well lit. Well. Basements. Okay. So, well insulated basement apartment. either well lit or well insulated. That works. And I'm just going to start moving things around a little bit, just so come to the crazy. Upstairs apartment, basement apartment. Cool thing is I can have them both go to the next part. Okay, craft shop. It has logic now, knowing that whichever place you go to, the next place, craft shop, is the option. Then we can have other places that have been mentioned, like the pizzeria, the cafe, the college, all able to be gone to from whichever apartment. And it should work. Cafe? Yeah. Coffee shop. So, coffee shop, pizzeria, and the university. So, now you see both of those places can access coffee shop, pizzeria, university, and the craft shop. So, you can see why I decided to go with Twine. It shows in a very good mind map way how certain things interact and work together. Like, we've got this spiderweb here. Let's see. I might be able to zoom in. Okay. So, like, craft shop in between the upstairs apartment and basement apartment. We have coffee shop, pizzeria, university. Universita. Okay, so far, we know where we are story title is basically in this place. Welcome to the Crazy is prologue or chapter 1, depending on your viewpoint. And then you, from there, choose which apartment you're going to go with. You're going to be working at the craft shop because your friend who owns the craft shop is giving you free rent. So, craft shop is definitely a place that you want to hang out. It's also where you're going to meet a lot of interesting characters. And some of the mysteries unfold a lot more in the craft shop because there are certain characters that are a bit interesting. So I'm going to start adding a characters bit. So let's here. This I am just going to new untitled. Name. I'm just going to say characters that are only ever in the coffee shop. So coffee shop ghosts. There are 3. So, these 3 characters, Esmeralda, Miss June, and Horace, are the 3 gossipy ghosts. Esmeralda. Is this like little kid whom your friend's uncle was trying to teach to write notes just in case no one who ended up working at the shop could communicate with ghosts? So this type of paranormal stuff does occur in the coffee shop. Actually, no, this is the craft shop peeps. Craft shop peeps. Okay, I have to rearrange that. Rename this. It isn't the coffee shop, it's the craft shop. Peeps. Craft shop ghosts. Okay. Craft shop ghosts. They belong to the craft shop, but you don't meet them just yet. Then there are the coffee shop regulars, the pizzeria people. There are some university people that more often than not hang out at the craft shop because good hours. Like, these are the 4 main places just because the hours are great for the students, because it's a college town. They're like that. So that's the craft shop ghosts. I am putting you guys over here. Yes. Okay. So that's the craft shop ghosts. Coffee shop regulars are going to be another group. So Mm. 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 So let's just work with those three first, and then we can add. I do know that we need to start bringing in the victims and the potential perpetrators. So, the ghosts, not the ones potentially poisoning or killing or robbing, depending on what the story calls for. So these ghosts, they're just informants that are very unreliable narrator type of informants. Coffee shop regulars could potentially be suspects, could potentially be victims, could potentially be able to give clues. So then we've got the pizzeria. So, pizza people. The ones that previously before the was people are going to okay. Those three. Silas. Bergen. Nika. So we've got coffee shop, coffee shop, and pizza. Then Università. University. Names. This is before certain characters showing up. Ah. So these people are very much more peripheral peeps, but potentially useful in things like knowledge base. So there's that. These. Pizzeria. Coffee shop. Okay, so what we have so far is a cast of characters. That belong to 4 of the locations. Then, from there, we have different things like figuring out clue and how you go about that. But considering we also have paranormal stuff going on, what is needed for the paranormal stuff? The apartments can have their own studies. So, in the apartments, there will be studies. Or maybe there's a study place at the university, which is right down the road, for paranormal activities and such. But we need to establish rules for ghosts and such in this world. So ghosts. Ghost rules. The moment this is just to have a reminder of what works and what doesn't in this world. They are I also have to do, like, zombie rules, undead rules, late stage healer rules, because, I mean, one of the characters is a necromancer who's trying to go to university to be a doctor. Yeah, basically keeping rules and such like that so that I can quickly reference without having to go into a literal journal full of notes on how the world works. Start with this from here. Upstairs apartment is that. Back. This apartment is that. And then we are here. Welcome to the crazy. Start one. Okay. So none of these are attached to anything just yet. It's something that can also be used for items. In the case of the mysteries, we're going to be using clues. So, clues are going to be those items. Okay, ghost rules. Then another one that's going to be necromancer rules. After that will be necromancer rules. Another one. That's going to be clues. This is going to go over here. So, we can build out info on the different characters, the different rules for how things work in the world, and start working on what the clues are. And the clues will become their own items that you can have added to inventory. So the inventory would be like a journal, which will allow them to go through the clues. There'll be a certain number of clues that they have to choose what they believe to be the true clues, which are the red herrings. And in doing that, they will be able to figure out things like who it was that potentially committed the crime, potentially like motive, and like if it's a murder, what the method was that was used. And it's kind of fun that way, but it's narrowing down what all of the... I can't exactly say living because there are 3 dead ghost beings here, but also there may be undead or vampires or, you know, zombies in this group. I mean, one of you is technically someone who was revived, so not necessarily that reliably alive to begin with. So, organized this way, and we can start working on clues. Just a collection of clues from literally the book that I've been revising, which is the second book after this story. So, suppose find clues and go with just instead of that running mini boots. Ghost rolls. That's one. Okay. So, just trying to think of any other things that I will make sure to include for the logic for the ghosts. Attached to a place that mattered most to them in their lives. Only see what may have been able to see in space if event happened in an area visible during their lifetime from the area they are attached to. If wall was moved, that would block the view when they were living, that wall is still there for them. Space was a doorway back when Child Ghost was living. Years later, doorway is closed off. They still have the doorway and the ability to use that space as a door. And all right. Okay. Ghost rules. 3 basic ones there. Necromancer rules. So, what do you think of the necromancer rules I've got? Honestly, let me see if I can put that up. Necromancer rules are on the screen now. So, you must have equivalent exchange to revive the very recently fallen. Zombification is not allowed unless the being chose this as their wish as to what should be done with their remains. No turning undead without prior permission from the living being, or their descendants. Questioning the dead is not admissible in court as they may not or might not be telling the truth. Equivalent exchange can be a life or monetary and emotionally valued things owned by the one bargaining with death, i.e., the necromancer. If the one who's to be resurrected is a chimera, the difficulty could end both the parties, chimera and necromancer, dead, or zombified unintentionally without much hope of reversal. Yeah. Thanks. And then clues. Some of the clues from a book that I've been writing that's in this series. So, Sheriff's a well-known alcoholic. Jasmine was seen eating with the sheriff as though they were on dates, even though he's married. Sheriff and his wife practically raised Jasmine after her mother passed on when she was 10. The dance studio where Jasmine worked had several children who could have eaten one of the poisoned chocolates if they were really on her desk, as the boss said. Thomas, the owner of the dance studio, was dating Jasmine even though she was a bad girlfriend, always standing him up. Jasmine grew up knowing that the sheriff was her dad. Jasmine could not cook at all, as in she burns water attempting to make tea. Thomas had several friends on the police force who vouched for Jasmine and Thomas dating. Town gossips have spotted Jasmine and the sheriff's wife checking out studio spaces closer to the police station. Oh, cool. Glad you liked it. Like the necromancer rules. Okay, so technomancer rules, I'm going to work on that at another time, because right now it's just trying to get some of the logic out. I've got ghost rolls and necromancer rolls already set. So, craft shop. I'm going to take a short stretch break. I will be right back. But, yeah. I'm just going to put the necromancer rules back on the screen, because they're fun. But I will be right back. So, see you in a very short while. Yes, break must be allowed, or my hands will be like all pain. And this is someone who knits and crochets and weaves and does a lot of things that require being able to have nimble hands. Well, I also built furniture today, so my hands are in pain. kind of sliced one of my fingers opening one of the boxes. So, kind of have to keep it clean. Okay. Game will not be finished before noon. But the jam is due in 9 days, 6 hours, basically. So I've got 9 days, 6 hours to finish it. This is a link to the jam. So, in case you want to just check it out. Or maybe join. Or maybe keep an eye out for the next one. Very, very classic song. Half that part's stuck in my head now. Great. Okay. Let's see. In the wall, the guy Oh. Anyway, awesome music video. Awesome song by The Who. Awesome. I think it's a trilogy of tracks. It's like, yeah. Okay, so oops. Over here. If I go with the clues here, we know what the murder weapon was. And we need to add the dance studio. So, dance studio is across the street. Blood pudding? Chocolate pudding? Okay. The poisoned chocolates. So, need to add dance studio to this area. Okay, dance studio. I just copy this. Huh? Okay. And I like that it keeps track of all of the different items, places, characters, whatever you name one of these segments. Because that becomes its own little page that allows for you to just be like, okay, I need this character to say this. So, Jasmine was seen eating with the sheriff as though they were on a date. Okay, even though he's married. That clue is going to be given to a specific character. The dance studio where Jasmine worked had several children who could have ended up accidentally eating some of the poisoned chocolates. Well, that's another clue that could be given to a specific character. Yeah. So, even though a few of these things are circumstantial, and that one lends doubt because no kids were, I don't have to type it out each time. It's just easier for me to have, like, I can give the Jasmine was, scene 1 to Miss June. Miss June can have the clue about Jasmine being seen. Eating with the sheriff as though they were on dates, even though he's married. Okay, that clue is now Miss June's. Horace is going to be saying how Jasmine grew up knowing the sheriff was her dad. So you have two ghosts here saying things that very much contradict themselves, but let's see. Esme is going to go with all I had to do was type J into the, after the two brackets. Sheriff and his wife practically raised Jasmine after her mother passed when she was 10, which is really important to Esme because she was also 10 when there was the death of basically her entire family. She was one of those who died in this, which is why she is a ghost trapped at the age of 10. And she knows a lot about Jasmine because Jasmine would hang out at the craft shop, and the uncle that left the craft shop to your friend Frank here, who's basically taking whichever apartment you're not and owns the craft shop now. Well, because they kind of grew up in this area and your family moved away, yet you're coming back for university and to help your friend run a craft shop and to get away from the chaos of your family. Well, this kid ghost, because kids have this really weird situation where it's you could see kids playing make-believe, but they don't realize quite how much make-believe it is because one of the kids they're hanging out with is a ghost. They think it's just some other kid, or they're weirdly really good at playing pretend. But it's an actual ghost that did hang out with Jasmine and Arden, which is the character that I wrote the story where Jasmine ends up getting kind of framed for murder, potentially, or maybe she did it. But yeah, the kid ghost would see this side of things because she knows that since Jasmine was a 10-year-old, the sheriff and his wife were basically raising the kid. Miss June, not really paying that much attention to kids playing, but very much into gossip, would basically have noticed, okay, I can see that Jasmine and the sheriff are constantly having what she would see as lunch dates at the cafe next door. Horace knows because he was in the room when Jasmine ends up inadvertently admitting to the sheriff that she knows that he is her bio dad. So he's and I mean, strong silent type of guy, plus he's a ghost, so he's not gonna be spreading a rumor. But when Miss June is all accusing Jasmine of trying to kill the sheriff because she may have been trying to kill the sheriff's wife with the chocolates. He's like, no. Type of thing. But that type of situation going on there. So Jasmine. So yeah, in the game, you don't have to type it in. What I'm doing is just allowing for being able to go into the game and let's see. Welcome to Crazy, test from here. Okay, so we've got upstairs apartments, coffee shop, pizzeria, craft shop, dance studio. So it's a game that you could literally do everything if you have a touchscreen by touching the links or the back button, forward button. Yeah, it's just like that. You don't have to type it in every time. And in this case, it's just setting everything up. I have to make sure I've got the right one called, because I have Craft Shop Home. I also have Craft Shop. I have the Craft Shop Ghosts. So I just have to make sure I've got the correct one that I'm calling. So yeah, it's not too difficult. Plus it pretty much keeps the spelling for you if you just, you know, use the links for the names and such. And then you can always be like, okay, I wanted to say Esmeralda, but I wasn't sure of the spelling, so I just delete that. Esmeralda was a actual 10-year-old. Cool thing is, in her page, I can do a bio, I can do a picture, I can set it up to look like a really cool old like outfit, and it could be a picture from an old version of the craft shop. And then Miss June is later on, and she lived there. Well, she actually just worked at the craft shop, so she wasn't in either apartment space, and Horace lived in the upstairs apartments. He was an accountant, but he pretty much worked for himself, so he would be in the craft shop doing the books for other businesses in town, because right next door was a coffee shop, across the street was a diner, which later on became a pizzeria. Yeah, it's that type of thing, and allows for an easy way of keeping track of things. For me, this is much easier to keep track of the different characters by the locations they're usually associated with. So I've got to do the dance studios. And the coffee shops. People, what they are saying about the which clues are going to which person, and then I can work on how to get the characters to interact with the various characters, like the player character versus the NPCs, and how they can choose to accept or reject clues in their journal. So the journal has space for all of the clues. The journal will have no problem with keeping up with the space for all the clues. Only like 3 of them will be completely irrelevant and tell you exactly the motive and like how type of thing. But yeah, this is kind of shadows, and then the thing after that is how to catch the poisoner. So different aspects of the story right there. So clues, that's going to go into a journal, and when the clues are found, they can save to journal or just move on without saving it to journal. They'd have to go back to the character and talk to the character again to get the clue if they choose to not save the clue. But yeah. Also, I want to work on a few things for saving stuff. Sadly, that ice cream picture looks like thermal paste with, I would say RGB chunks very much is a good description of those chunks of whatever rock candy that is. But don't eat thermal paste. Please don't eat thermal paste. If you get thermal paste on something, isopropyl alcohol works really well for getting it off. I have seen too many people joke around with saying that they're going to eat thermal paste, and it's just no. No. Not good for you. Even worse if it's liquid metal. Or, oh, I don't know, LN2. Though with LN2 you want kneaded erasers and a bunch of like paper towels. And if you get it on you, hope that it gets onto your skin and not your clothes, because the clothes will pretty much, that section would freeze and it would be too cold for your skin to touch without potentially freezer burning that part. So touch LN2 with hand, not with gloved hand. Um, so Esmeralda, the clue from Esmeralda, the clue from Miss June, clue from Horace. Okay. Okay, cool. So, clues page. Just going to there. Yeah. Sheriff was a well-known chocoholic. There was a point in time in the backstory where the sheriff wasn't quite the sheriff at the time, but was an up-and-coming detective. And the entire department ended up going on a bit of a chocolate not allowed. No eating chocolate, no drinking hot chocolate, chocolate is banned thing. He basically kept arguing that it was against the Geneva Convention. And literally was writing letters to the editor. So, yeah. Very well-known chocoholic character. Okay, this one, the wife of the sheriff. I have to point out which character is the wife of the sheriff. Beatrice. Beatrice is the wife of the sheriff. Yeah, when you basically have multiple people who inspire each and every single one of the characters, and a couple things that the couple of people that inspired the sheriff, like, a couple things that are very, very much them: music addicts and chocoholics. So it was like, okay, has to have, like, if there's chocolate, this guy is going to be, like, you know, like, sneaking some chocolate here and there, and then asking for if he can have chocolate, and then sneaking some more after that. So. And since there are some pretty easy recipes for chocolates, but I know people who would burn water if they attempted it again. It was like, okay, character is a chocoholic, well-known chocoholic. Another character burns water. Who would be the one who would be the most likely to give the chocoholic chocolates that they were given? Let's see. Well, maybe the character who burns water doesn't actually like chocolate and was given the chocolate, and yeah, not likely to have made the chocolate. So it's like the things everyone assumes about a character versus the reality of that character and them being very different. Yeah. So, and gossips are Lee and Micah. So I need to adjust one thing. This one. Sheriff's wife is Beatrice. Sheriff. Okay. So, all of the clues have been taken. Cool. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, I'm going to need to do bars to separate. Okay. Cool. I'm going to separate them by let's see how these look. Okay. That versus that. box is too big. I can manipulate that. I think I prefer this look. That leads to the ghosts, which can give you the clues depending on a few things going on there. Okay. Yeah, I know. Basically, it's just me getting the stuff out. I can manipulate it later. I have like 9 days left, so I'm good with that. Versus that. Okay, I like this. I need to kind of adjust things a bit visually, or it doesn't necessarily. Okay. Dusty. Lee. Don't have any clues for them right now. I think those two and the coffee shop regulars are cops. Thomas's friends. I have another clue. Wait. Basically, every single place here is in the town. I'm just trying to have things that are not in literally the building they live in just be town. So that's everything technically is in the town, including the building they live in. But they're just other buildings in said town. Yeah. Kind of just using this to map it out. And yes, I just made the owner of the pizzeria a vampire who's studying law. um, okay, so the character is Thomas. He's related to Dance Studio along with that was really weird. Music did something weird. Not sure if it was the music or my computer. Okay, let's see. This area looks kind of normal. Okay, it was probably my computer. Cool. We enjoy and have lots of fun and come up with really fun, chaotic ideas. Maybe even make a game that you post on each. Maybe even join the game jam if you manage to get it up and running before the game jam ends. Lots of possibilities there. Yeah, so. Not that hot right now, so. It's not bad. Okay. So, pizzeria peeps. Let me spell his name. Is that? Okay, that's why. Mika. It looks like pasta. Okay. Rules. Necromancer rules. All our contact necromancer rules later. Cool thing is you don't necessarily have to download it. You can use Twine online, I believe. Because I think use in browser is an option. So if you want to try it and don't feel like installing it, you can just use it in your browser, and as long as the cookies stay there, you still have your page. You're good. You can even, I believe, download the page so you can have it as a backup. Considering it publishes directly to HTML, you can work on it pretty much anywhere. I have, weirdly enough, used it on like a phone before. I've used it on, I think I was using it on an iPod Touch for a bit there. I weirdly enough may have used it on my PSP just to test something. So, yeah. But that was like an older version. So, yeah. You could end up with some pretty cool stuff. And the ability for it to be cross-platform with really not much trouble. It'll work on Linux, it'll work on Windows, it'll work on Mac, it'll work on iOS, it'll work on Android. If you have it on a web page, it'll work on your Switch if you can connect to a web page. Should work on a PS3 possibly, PS4, PS5, Xbox, as long as you can connect to the internet and like look up things, go to a web page. So, fairly easy way to go cross-platform, if you think of it that way. So I have all of this stuff that I can add things in between to make story progression. I've got a bunch of things to work on to logic, and I am really tired now. Okay, I slept for like 3 hours last night, so I'm going to call it a night for me. And yeah. Thanks for hanging out. I am glad you were able to check out Twine and the different possible things you can do format-wise. I hope you have fun with it. It'd be really cool if you end up like managing to get a page on your blog that is your game, and I would probably be playing a lot of that. Anyway, I'm going to call it a night. It's been a good over 2 hours 45 minutes of me kind of blocking out certain things for the story, and I have to give myself a break right now because I need sleep. I also need to take care of the cat and do a few things before I manage to be allowed to get some sleep. But exhausted, and I will take a nap instead. So, good night. Have an amazing night. Have an amazing morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. And hope to see you around next time. It is Monday, which means Pal World with Umbrella de Liminale is tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. So that means tomorrow night, so Tuesday night, is Umbrella doing an art stream and me doing Pal World solo after her art stream. Then Wednesday is Craft and Chill. We'll be working more on the game. Hopefully I'll have more of it set up by then and transferred from the other computer, like the bits of dialogue and everything. And then We have Thursday, which is Umbrielle playing. I think she has the very last bit of the DLC for Horizon Forbidden West to get through. So if you're trying to not be spoiled and you've been playing it, you might want to finish it before then. Or wait to watch the VOD. But I suggest watching her play because it's fun. We have Friday, and I'll be playing The Sims 4. Saturday, she's going to be doing another art stream. Sunday, I'll be doing another craft and shell. If after Saturday's art stream there is time, I will do another Stardew Valley episode. So, there are plans for the rest of the week. And there they are. So, ciao. See ya.